Okay, so first maybe just a little history of the Sleep Store Merino, how we came to have our own Merino when there's been lots of other brands of Merino. We know that lots of you, buy Merino from other places too, but ours is really special. And we've been, had our own range of Merino for I think about 5 years maybe. I think this maybe the 5th or 6th year. So we've been doing it for a long time, and we work with Ali from Baboo helps us with our production, and we have our own amazing in-house production manager, Amanda, who's unfortunately on holiday, the cheek of it, or she would be here with me. So between those two amazing women, they make sure that our Merino is really high quality. We only work with really top factories. We can have a beautiful range. This year's the biggest range ever with loads of colours and so on. Even though, compared to somebody like Farmers or Postie, we're tiny. So, you might find cheaper Merino elsewhere, but often it's cheaper because it's nastier. Ours is very, very high quality. But also you have to factor in that we're quite a small business, and so we're not ordering thousands of things. We're ordering in the 50s or 100, not thousands, and that does impact, but it also means that we can have beautiful exclusive colours. All our colours were picked specially by us for this year. And it also means that we tweak our range over time based on your feedback. So some of the new products that are coming in the second drop are things that you guys asked for last winter. And some of the changes to the fabrics this year are based on your feedback. So we're always listening, and we're always trying to give you what you want. But Merino, we generally only order it once or twice a year, so we can meet the minimums from the factory. So it takes a whole year pretty much for your changes to flow through. Our rib Merino, which is what all our what I'm mostly going to be showing you today. Actually, we've got 2 ranges to show you today, the stripe range and the rib. They're all 220 gram Merino, so that's thicker and warmer weight than pretty much anybody else's Merino. Most people use 180, some brands use 200, but the kind of standard Merino that you would find in a chain store is nowhere near 220 grams. So when you buy ours, it does have a really lovely, warm, solid thickness to it. But it's also extremely soft. We use, I can't remember the exact micron, but it's classified as extra fine Merino. So again, most chain store Merino wouldn't have that rating of extra fine, because the coarser the Merino, the cheaper it is to buy. So that's one of the factors when you choose a smaller micron, finer fibre. It does push the price up, but it gives you that 19.5. There you go. It does give you that really delicious softness. What else? All our Merino is Woolmark rated, and what else have I got on? We got on there. It's very stretchy, so it keeps its shape really well. So you can see with the rib, like it. So even if you've got a really chunky baby, those bodysuits will go around them, and then when it will keep its shape. It's just the quality of the knitting. I think this year is absolutely incredible. It just springs back to shape so beautifully. And also, we're going to just go through some of the attention to detail things. I might show you those now. Yeah. So when we see people talking about our Merino, some either in our own Facebook groups or reviews that come through, or somewhere like the Mum Collective, people often mention the reinforcing under the snaps. So I don't know, is that close enough? Can you see that there? Yep. So we put this beautiful colour coordinated tape under the snaps, so that when you open the snaps, it doesn't rip a hole in the Merino. I can't remember how many bodysuits I wrecked with my own kids, where they were cheaper. They might have come from, I don't know where, it was before we sold Merino with my older kids. But you had to so carefully open up the domes, or it would just rip a big hole. And seriously, you're like changing an exploding poo nappy. You actually just want to be able to unsnap it in a hurry and not worry about it tearing. So please do still be careful. These are beautiful garments, but It's not, you're never gonna with ours get a hole ripped along here, because that's what the tape's for. I actually can't believe it that they colour coordinated the tape so beautifully with all these exquisite colours. They dyed the tape specially to match, so that's pretty impressive. So yeah, the snaps is one thing. The beautiful binding and so on around the necks, all double stitched just for extra strength and just so it looks really cute. We've got our little sleep store tag on there.
Not the love the reinforcing tape.
The reinforcing tape. Do you know, I used to have some bodysuits that were Mokapuna ones and they had buttons. Can you imagine the stupidity of having to, they don't do that anymore after probably like thousands of people telling them it was a stupid idea, and they were square buttons and the buttonholes always stretched, and so after a few wears they didn't even stay closed. Very annoying. Okay, so this is, some of you might know our Merino zip suits from the Sleep Store range. Last year we had 2 colours in stripe and we had some patterned ones as well. This year we've just gone for 3 colours in the stripe. We changed to Merino factories for this year for a number of reasons, and this factory really specialises in the stripe and the quality. If you had the stripe last year, you'll know how lusciously soft it is. It's even better this year, which is quite hard to believe. So we've got 3 colours in the stripe, and there's this really adorable little feature here that you can tuck the zip in. That's one of Amanda's little improvements. So you've got a double-ended zip for your nappy changes, and then this little zip comes down and you can just pull that up over there. And Amanda's also changed the zip so it no longer has a hole in the zip, so that vomit or poo or anything doesn't get stuck in the hole. Yeah, this is what Amanda designed it for. Fortunately, I'm long past having to worry about poo or vomit and zipper pulls, but there you go. And then you can also obviously zip it from the top. So we're really delighted with how the zip suits are looking this year. So initially 3 colours, which since we're talking about them I'll show you now. So that's our grey stripe. So similar to last year's grey stripe, although it's a little bit more white. Last year it was quite creamy. The evergreen and cream stripe, which the green was a last minute addition to the range because I was a bit sad that we decided that we'd done our forest colour for 2 years. We decided we were done with that, but then I just couldn't cope with not having a green, so the evergreen got popped back in at the last minute. And then this is the auburn and grey mail stripe. So this is our new packaging, which you'll recognise is the same packaging that all our rainbow products came in for summer. Actually, this is the winter weight one. This is not merino, but how cute is it? Yeah, so we've changed to this compostable packaging. Last year for the merino, or the last few years, we had little cloth bags, then we tried a little tulle bag. But for a number of reasons, we've changed to the compostable. Partly it's because in our warehouse and with transport and things, a more solid bag gives better protection. You know, as you know, merino is a delicate fibre and you do have to look after it, and for us it's really important that with all the handling and the shipping and everything else, it's better protected. And also for people who buy their merino and keep it for next season, it does have to be protected from dust mites and so on. Is it dust mites? What are we talking about? The things that eat the merino.
The moths.
The moths, sorry, not dust mites, moths. Obviously needed 2 coffees this morning, not 1. Yeah, and because none of our Sleep Store products come with plastic, compostable bags was the next best choice. These are totally reusable compostable. They're a thicker weight. A lot of the I was doing inwards goods yesterday all day, and some of the compostable packaging that came on one brand, when I took it out of the carton, the compostable bag ripped into pieces in my hand. So therefore that's just rubbish. Yes, you can compost it, but it doesn't serve the purpose of protecting the product in our warehouse, and you certainly can't use it again. So when we went with compostable, we chose a decent weight. It will still break down in your home compost. It's certified for home compost. It'll take a little bit longer than the really flimsy stuff, but it will break down. It's got the international certification, but it's also got the Ziploc. So we know that, I know from at my house, you still actually need bags that you can put wet things in, or you still need to take you know, snacks, or you still, for tramping or for whatever, you still need bags like this. You can buy a reusable wet bag, but you can also reuse these. So we hope you like them. We hope you actually do compost them, please. Don't just put them in your rubbish, because that wouldn't be very good. Yeah. And our warehouse's staff are also loving it, because James put major attention to making the labelling super awesome. And when we've all been taking turns picking this week, because we're really, really short staffed, and we're all finding it very easy to pick. So give me a good life, use me again. So we hope you like the packaging. We'd love to hear what you think. And lots of our products still do come in the cloth bags. All our wool babe products come in cloth bags, and all our bedding products come in cloth bags, but the little garments and things, we're going to be going with the compostable from now on.
Okay, there's quite a few questions, so
Okay, cool, let's go for it.
Can you put merino in the dryer?
I wouldn't, no. Unless you want it, unless you buy it 5 sizes too big and you want it to come out this small. No, I would never tumble dry your merino. It will shrink. And I think the main thing with dryers is that they're all different, and a lot of them dry a lot hotter than you'd expect. Merino dries really quickly. You know, on an airing rack, we use a lot of merino. All my kids wear icebreaker t-shirts and stuff for tramping, and Matt and I wear it all the time, and we just have a drying rack that we just take it out of the washing machine, dry it. You can hang it on the line, it will be really quick, but drying rack, we just have it by the front door. Gets a bit of sun and it dries really quickly. You can on a towel, put a towel on your heated towel rail and dry your merino over that, but really just an airing rack is quick. Or we also have in our laundry, we have a little rail above the sink, and with t-shirts and that, if you just put them on a hanger and hang it up there, it will be dry overnight just from drip drying over the sink.
Yeah.
So yeah, no dryers.
Okay. Someone said that what's the difference between merinos and thermals? Is there any? There's another store that sells thermals, which they noticed there was no wool component.
Oh,
so
okay.
Just wanting to ask the question.
Yeah, generally when people talk about thermals, they're talking about polypropylene, which is totally 100% synthetic. So polypropylene kind of came from tramping. You know, like if you go back with tramping products, years ago there was like old school long johns, which were not merino, they were wool, they were a bit itchy, super warm, a really, really good older product. And then kind of scratchy wool went out of favour because this new miracle polypropylene is like super lightweight, dries really quickly, but it's 100% synthetic, so it stinks after you've been when you're tramping, like after a day it'll be revolting. And it has no temperature regulating properties. It just keeps you warm, which if you're tramping in the rain, that's fine, or in the winter, but for your kids, I would never sleep my kids in polypropylene because it's basically plastic. So yeah, if you need a cheap warm top for your kids to go on a school trip, or cheap kindy kind of stuff that you don't want to use nice merino for, polypropylene is warm, but it's plastic, so it's not suitable for overnight, and it's definitely not suitable for babies. So yeah, calling it thermals is kind of fudging the fact that it is polypropylene plastic.
Oh, okay. Is merino, or the sleep merino, a good option for under a wool babe?
Oh yes. Here's one I prepared earlier. Ooh, can I just sneak this in? Wool babe, not sleep store, but all part of the same family. So yeah, you can totally layer up something like, what would be a really beautiful combo? Yeah, merino is absolutely perfect to go under a wool babe, so you get the temperature regulating properties of the merino against your child's skin, and then you've got the thick yummy merino filling in your wool babe. Would be a very cozy combo. And then you can just add more layers, like you might use one of the sleep store bodysuits, and then if it's cooler you could put the merino pajamas or zip suit over the top, or you could use, I'm not going to mess up the pretty display, or you could go something like the Sleep Store merino bodysuit and then go a Wool Babe zip suit, which is merino and cotton together, and then the bag on the top. So those 3 layers, but yeah, always either merino or merino cotton against the skin is really, really good.
Excellent. Okay. What's the difference between the Sleep Store zip suit versus the Wool Babe PJ suit?
That's a good question. I guess it's a similar garment in that it's long sleeves, long legs, double zip. The Wool Babe PJ suit's 70% organic cotton, 30% merino. The Sleep Store ones are 100% merino. I don't know how the fit compares. We've made them, we keep our specs for the 2 brands totally separate, and because the fabric behaves quite, because the fabric behaves quite differently, like the merino's a lot stretchier, the shape will be slightly different. So I would say the merino one's probably a little bit warmer because it's 220 gram, 100% of merino, not 30% of merino with the Wool Babe one. But it serves the same purpose. You can wear it as it by itself. You can put a bodysuit or a singlet suit under it. You could put another top over it if you needed it, and they're perfect for day use or night use. Perfect under sleeping bags, or with bigger kids, you can just use them with duvets. They're not just for in a sleeping bag.
Excellent. And someone's asked how many layers. There's a few. We are going to touch on layering a little bit. Someone's asked how many layers for a 1-year-old for winter. And it does really depend on how warm your baby's room is.
How cold is your house? How much does your child feel the cold? What are you using for bedding? Are you using a sleeping bag? Are you using a duvet? Do they kick it off? It's a bit like how long is a piece of string. So I can't give you an exact answer for that, but what I would say is that the beauty of merino is that it's really hard to overheat your kids if you use merino, because it helps with temperature regulation. It's really hard for a kid to get, baby or child, to get too hot. So like my Eddie's been testing out the new fleece onesie, which is quite a bit thicker than the old fleece onesie, and even in, this is this month, March, so it's still quite warm in Auckland, fleece onesie, and he uses a feather duvet or a wool duvet. He still, if he gets a bit hot, he'll just kick off the duvet, but he's never got sweaty. So I think with merino, just add more layers if you feel your children are cold, and then just use your judgment. This is, we talk about it a lot in our office, that so many kind of apps and guides, and people pay large amounts of money for a guide to tell them the exact answer, but really as parents you just want to use your common sense and your judgment and look at your child and see, are they warm, are they cold? If they're cold, put another layer on. And that merino is perfect for that, and the Wool Babe is perfect for that, because you can just you can just have confidence that they'll keep your kids warm. So that's like with older kids, a zip suit or the merino pajamas, even if they kick off all their bedding, if they're not in a sleeping bag or sleeping suit, if they've got like the thick wool merino pajamas on, they're not going to be freezing. That's going to keep them pretty cozy, and if you don't feel that's enough, you could put a singlet under it or a bodysuit. But yeah, merino makes such a difference compared to cotton pajamas in terms of how warm it will keep them. Sorry, I'm not very good at giving specific answers for that.
And we've got some like Wool Babe temperature guides and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I'll post comments in the comments as well. But yeah, it is and also socks. Adding socks if you feel cold feet.
Merino socks make a big difference. I had a question from someone recently who was taking their child camping in the South Island in May, and they wanted to know how many layers of clothing. I was a bit like, oh my goodness, it's going to be very, very cold. And I was picturing myself, I'd be going like 2 pairs of wool socks and a wool hat and probably 3 or 4 layers of merino and then a sleeping bag, potentially.
Zip suits, someone said they were multitasking and missed, but they were double zipped.
Double zipped, yeah.
Any zip suits with fold over feet?
No.
No.
No, and I think the thing with putting feet onto zip suit, onto any kind of suit, is that if you put actual feet, the toes wear through and you grow out of them long before, like with these, even if they're they're quite generous in the torso length, and even if this is kind of like halfway up the calf, it's still going to be a really functional warm garment, whereas when you put feet on it, it's got a very short, it's either a tripping hazard if the feet are too big, or they get too small. The fold over feet are kind of good in theory, but we find that you have to construct the garment quite differently. It then becomes a slipping hazard unless you put grippy stuff on it, and it just wears out, and then the rest of the garment becomes useless because you've worn through the foot part of it. So we've made the decision not to put feet on any of our merino products, just to give them better longevity and so they stay good. And we would just say put a pair of Lamington socks. We've just had 3 massive cartons of Lamingtons. I got overexcited. I did the order in the car the other day when I was going down to New Plymouth. So add more. I kept crashing their website because I added so many pairs of socks. But yeah, knee-high socks and a suit is a really perfect combination, and it'll mean that your suits don't wear out on the feet.
Just while you've got that there, Lou, someone said, is merino itchy against the skin? Sometimes wool can feel a bit coarse and itchy, but that is really soft. Like, I don't know if you can put it to the screen and see.
Yeah, I don't know, it's probably a little bit hard to see. But I think who did a thing on Instagram?
Cindy.
Cindy Gossard, is it Gossard?
Yes.
Yeah, she did a story a couple of days ago. I'm not sure if she saved it to her stories, to her highlights, but she was just commenting on how beautifully soft. Like, if you didn't know this was merino, you probably wouldn't pick it because it's so soft. It's got no itch, it's got no kind of woolliness, but it just has an amazing kind of light, soft feel to it. You know, if your child has got really bad eczema, probably even our beautiful extra fine, specially knitted to be soft merino might not be suitable for bad eczema, but for kids without eczema, it's so soft you will not find it itchy or scratchy at all. That's not to say other merino isn't. As I said before, you know, the micron that you choose, the quality of the yarn, how it's processed, all of those things determine whether merino kind of fulfills its potential as an incredibly soft, beautiful fibre, or if you go for the cheaper, coarser kind of budget merino, then it probably still will feel a bit itchy. Yeah, kind of just depends. Yeah, not all merino is equal by any stretch.
Yeah. Also, the best combo under a sleep sack, again, that kind of comes down to what we kind of just talked about. It depends on a number of factors, but as a mum, I'd say one of my key items would be a bodysuit. Yeah. Like, you always start with that, or a singlet suit.
I agree. That's, for me, I would always start with, in the winter, always start with a long sleeve bodysuit. Lots of our, some of the colours now go up to a size 3 in the bodysuit, and, you know, for this time of the year, if you don't feel it's quite bodysuit time, then a merino singlet suit just keeps the core regulated and warm enough. So if you start with that, and then that's where, if you have got limited budget to spend on things like this, start with the merino bodysuit, and then even if you put, not thermals, nothing cotton, synthetic, but even if you just put a cheap cotton zip suit or something, or pyjamas over the merino, it's still going to be massively cozier than just using a cotton singlet or cotton pyjamas. And then from there it really depends on what weight of sleeping bag you're using, and how cold the room is. So something like either this one here, these got mislabeled as mid-weight bags. There's actually 3.5 top. They're incredibly warm, or a duvet wool babe. You might just find it that in a lot of houses, bodysuit and the bag is all you need, and then once we kind of get to you know, end of April, May, you probably add another layer. And then if it's a really cold house and by June, July, maybe you need the bodysuit and a merino suit and maybe another top. But that would be if it was like 16 degrees and really chilly. But you just add more layers as you need, or use a thicker sleeping bag. But always, moral of the story is always the merino layer against the skin first.
Someone's asked what sizes we go up to, just in general. So it kind of depends on what product you're
Totally
looking at.
depends on the
So,
garments.
yeah.
I think the pyjamas, I think from memory, go to a 10.
I'll put a link through to our merino so you can go and have a look at all the different items. But like the bodysuits, you said some colours go up to 3.
Yeah, some colours go to a 3. Singlet suits and bodysuits, some colours go to a 3. And that, like I think we did 2 colours last year, and the 2s and 3s sold out because we know most other retailers don't bother to make the bigger sizes. Like, duh. So yeah, bodysuits and singlet suits to a 3. We have just like a little grey singlet. I don't think we've got that here. Just
I don't have it.
A little kid's singlet, just comes in grey. I think that goes to about an 8. I can't remember. We'll go through and put it down. We were trying to remember before because we knew someone would ask. Did these go to a 3? I think a 3 for the zip suits. And the kids' pyjamas go to a 10. And then the merino fleece range, which I'm going to give you a sneaky peek of the new range, it will go to a 12 this year. And that's because I have a 12-year-old who still loves it. Maybe next year it will go to a 14 if he still wants to wear it. But yeah, 12 for that, because they're more kind of like loungy around.
Zip suit goes to 3.
To a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it did used to go to a 5, but practically nobody bought it. People buy the fleece in the bigger sizes. So this is Blue Lake. So beautiful. I realised that we called one of our wool babe colours Lake, and this is Blue Lake. Never mind, it's all about the lakes. This is deep blue, and this is my favourite in the range. Can you see? It's like a blue marl. It's so lush. And then I'll show the 3 marl colours. So grey marl is just the same as always. And then this is dusky lilac, which is so beautiful. This is the first year. Oh, a few years ago we did hot pink, which some people liked, and I really liked because it is my favourite colour, but it was a bit out there. So this is the first really girly kind of pinky colour that we've done in ages.
I've seen quite a few of those going out on the packing desk.
But it's also, even though it's this really beautiful soft lilac, like when I said to my 2 youngest boys, a 10 and 12-year-old, what colour would you get the merino pyjamas in? They both chose that. So, you know, lilac is for everybody. They're very fond of pink and purple at my house. Cream. And then this is our little kind of autumn palette, which we hope you will love. These 3 go together. So these match back too with the zip suits. So this is evergreen and auburn and marigold. And if you love the marigold, you might want to go afterwards and make sure you've entered, because Amelia posted a very adorable giveaway, which is this bodysuit and the matching baby saffron jellycat was so ooh la la and adorable. Yeah. So this is, you can just see auburn stripe, auburn, marigold, dusky lilac, deep blue, evergreen stripe, and then the grey marl stripe, which is we've done for a few years. It's a total classic. I think it was the only colour, the grey marl and the grey, the cream, and the grey stripes, the only one that we carried over because we got totally carried away. And the thing that you can't see yet is that this is not even half the range. Oops. It never looks quite so big when you put it on a spreadsheet and send it to the factory, but then when it arrives in it's hundreds of cartons and quite a lot of money. But yeah, so there's probably 8 more colours which you can't see that are coming. So this has been, we've made this product out of merino, out of cotton. This was actually, the cotton version of this was the very first sleep store product. And I was just actually having coffee with someone before this live, talking about how the sleep store was founded, what, you know, why did I do it, what was the point. And one of the things that we did first was you couldn't actually 15 years ago buy a decent sized stretchy swaddle anywhere in New Zealand. So I was like, aha, that was our very first product, and I used to sew them myself, and then somebody locally in Glen Eden used to sew them for me. And now we have, for 5 years we've had these beautiful merino ones. So this you can swaddle, you can use it as a pram blanket, you can use it folded over, you know, in a Moses basket or a bassinet. You know, 4 layers if it's really cold, 2 layers or 1 layer. You could use it as a light cot blanket. You can snuggle with it on the sofa yourself. You can even wear it. It's a super versatile little blanket, swaddle blanket, and they're just so soft and beautiful. And we think if this is kind of, for me, the like perfect baby shower present, because it will just get so much use over the years, and you'll be very popular if you give someone this.
That's what I love about them. It's like there's so many uses. It's not just for when they're newborn.
Yeah, it's hard to know what to call it. We could change it to like a wonder blanket or something, because you can use it for so many things. And so many colours this year.
Yes, so many colours.
Yeah.
New colours in the pyjamas. I don't know if we've shown the pyjamas.
Oh, we haven't shown the pyjamas. So the pyjama colours this year are dusky lilac, deep blue, which if you want deep blue in size 3, please order them really quickly, because every second order, it feels like at the moment, it has, like, the box is nearly empty. Deep blue size 3, and then the trusty grey male. So just those 3 colours, and then in May the drop will come with all the separate tops and pants, and that's coming, I think, in 5 colours.
And someone said how much for the pyjamas again? Sorry.
The pyjamas are $79.
Yes.
And there's actually, in our VIP group, I saw a discussion about the sizing on the pyjamas, that they are a generous fit. We know they're pricey for a pair of pyjamas, so you can wear them, you know, roll over the waistband. The tops are made long in the body, so a lot of people were saying that they sized up and they would last for 2 years. You can roll over the cuffs, but they are a generous fit. And also just a little tweak that Amanda's made on the pyjama pants. I can't remember if this was on there last year, or they used to just be like a straight leg, but they've got the cute little cuff, and so that also helps with, if you get them a bit big, you can roll them up. They're kind of a pretty skinny leg. They're not quite leggings, but they work fine a little bit bigger.
Someone wants to know if they can just move into the warehouse.
Sorry, there's no room at the moment because there's so freaking much stock here. Yeah, when I was doing stock all day yesterday, I had like some kid in casually counting 3 pallets of Bobux shoes, and I was just counting, and Kylie's is about buried in stock. We've now got 4 containers in our car park. Sorry, staff have to park down the road because it's just full of containers. Yeah, it's chock-a-block here, no room for spares, I'm sorry.
Someone just said as well, her son is a really sweaty sleeper. Would Merino be good for this?
Yes, I would say that Merino is good for sweaty sleepers, because the problem with cotton that you'll know, like in the summer when you wear a t-shirt and you're in front of a bright window and a hot light and you get a bit sweaty, then the cotton just goes clammy and damp, and then in the night that's cold. That's like when you're tramping or doing sport or whatever, never use a cotton t-shirt because it's just will rub and it's clammy and gross. Whereas Merino, even if your child sweats and it feels damp, it will stay a comfortable temperature. It still keeps doing its temperature regulating magic and still is comfortable to wear even when it's damp and sweaty. So, you know, if they're really sweaty, just using a singlet suit or the little kid singlet would be a really good, you know, base layer against the skin.
Excellent. Someone also said that they find Merino gets holes. How about your brand?
Yep.
And again, it's quite often moths.
Yeah, the most common causes of holes in Merino is people using the wrong, you know, laundry product. If you use anything with bleach in it, it will eat holes in it. And sometimes we do get people who send things back with holes in it, and you can actually see the bleach marks or the nappy sand, or you can smell it. So yeah, if you can't soak Merino, you have to be really careful with rubbing Merino. It is a delicate fibre. It's not like trusty, you know, cotton or polyester or anything. So don't rub it and don't soak it would be the first things, and use a gentle wool wash. There's lots of different wool washes. Different people like different things. I use the Eco Store one or the kind of eucalyptus one in the green bottle because I like the smell of it. At our house, if the load is, when you look at the washing, if it's mostly merino, I just use wool wash for the whole load. Washes everything fine. If we've got lots of merino, just wash it separately. The second tip for not getting holes is you have to really watch what you wash your merino with, and zippers are one of the big culprits. So, say if you've got a pair of jeans and you chuck it in the wash with a delicate merino bodysuit, the harsh zip teeth or the zipper pull will catch, when it's going around for an hour and a half or whatever. Any kind of zipper can make a hole in your merino, and that's nothing to do with the merino. That's just, you actually need to make sure that you don't wash your beautiful high quality merino with zips. You need to either zip them up or just wash them separately would be my advice, and that does require remembering, but it is one of the things that makes holes. And then the third thing is the moths. And people always are like, I definitely don't have moths in my house, but when people send us photos of, this merino's got holes in it, you can see a moth hole is like a perfectly round hole. It's really obvious that's what it is, and we've got photos on our website. You can Google, moth holes in merino and see. It's the most common reason that merino gets holes in it, and it particularly happens when people buy merino things at the end of the season on special, store them for the 6 months and then get it out at the start of the winter, and we always get these emails, I bought this merino and it's developed these holes, or I bought it and it's got holes in it, I've never used it. Sorry, the moths in your house made the holes. So when merino is stored, that's the most common time it will get holes in it from moths, but any time they can come and chomp little round holes. So use the correct washing detergent. Watch out for other things like zippers or bra hooks are the other thing. I'm lazy and I don't use a...
You can use delicate bags as
well. Yeah, I don't use that, but I should.
Yeah.
So either put your merino in the delicate bag or put your bras in the delicates bag, but don't wash them together because they will hook the little loose, particularly something like this where it's a more open knit. You get the stretch, but it's also prone to hooks. And watch out for the moth holes. You can get on our website we have a recipe for mothballs.
Yeah, we do. I'll post a link to it.
Post the link to that, and you can also get the little moth traps. Like I use them in my pantry. We get a lot of them. And it's a little sticky thing. You could just put that in your wardrobe or by where you keep your merino, and the moths will stick to that rather than go in and chomp. But you do really have to watch for that. Merino is a delicate fabric. It does have to be really carefully looked after. Some merino is much more prone to getting holes, and we know that from feedback from other brands, which we won't name, but a lot of the cheaper merino does develop holes more easily. But there's a lot you can do to look after your investment and make sure that it doesn't get holes.
Yeah. And while we're talking about this, people have asked about stains in merino. What would you use for stains in merino?
I don't know. I'd buy like a dark colour. You'll note that most of our merino is more like a poo-proof colour.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could use the old baking soda paste. You could try lemon juice. You could try Sard Wonder soap. Would be. That's about as harsh as I would personally use on merino. That's the same as what we'd say for wool babe. But there's no way you can soak it in something like nappy sand without destroying the garment. Even if you dilute it, even if it's not for long, it will eat holes in it. There's no
question. And I would
question.
say, if you have a big poo explosion, wash it straight away.
Yes.
Don't leave it overnight or, till
even if you soak it in a bucket,
like
if it happens in the night, put it in a bucket of run the sink with cold water and just leave it. And then run it through in the morning, but definitely don't just leave it in a bag or in the I'm sure you wouldn't, if it would just be disgusting. But cream is like a classic merino colour, but it's totally the worst for poo stains. I wouldn't buy it myself. I used to buy dark brown back in the day. but what else on that? I think that's really everything.
Yeah,
You know,
and
if
we'll
you're
post
worried
links
about
to
staining,
that.
buy a dark colour. There's plenty of choices in the dark colours.
Yeah.
Wash it quickly. You know, and sometimes things just with kids, they just get stains, and then over time sunlight, you know, just leave them out on the line for a while and the sunlight will fade it, and maybe just have a couple of gross ones that you use when kids are sick, or they go to like, they're the ones that go to kindy or whatever.
Yeah. There is a question that's come up a couple of times. If the zip suits fit over cloth nappies, or should they upsize?
They are very stretchy.
Yeah.
So if you have a look at, it's a bit hard with the hanger, but if you can see there's the bum, it's very stretchy. So, I mean, they are a reasonable fit. That's a very stretchy fabric. If you're not sure, like if you're kind of halfway between sizes, go up. You can roll up the sleeves and the feet, but they are a generous width across the bum to compensate for nappies. It'll just be a snugger fit. I don't think you'll have any trouble with that fitting.
No.
It's more just how you like them to fit. And you always, with anything from us, you're always welcome to buy 2 sizes and post back the one that you don't want, because we do have that 365-day returns policy, so it's totally no problem. I said that to someone, you know, we get that all the time with Bobucks, that people kind of not sure about the fit. It's hard to guess sometimes. Just buy both sizes and send one back for a refund.
And another customer's just commented now saying that she uses it over the big cloth nappy, and it's fine. So thank you for
sharing that. Thank you
yeah,
very much.
thanks for that. Someone actually, just while we're talking about the return, someone had asked if we would partner with department stores so that people could go in and actually feel and touch the products. But I think that's a good point that you make, that, you know, if you're unsure, you can buy it, and if it's not what you were expecting, just don't wash it, send it back with the original packaging.
That's right. Just try it on before you wash it. Keep the packaging. You know, we have probably the loosest returns policy of any retailer in the country. So, you know, buy things, try them on, see if you like them, touch and feel, and send it back. Or if you're in Auckland, you can do a click and collect order. It'll be waiting for you at our entrance. You can come in, see if it's what you thought it would be. If you don't like it, just leave it with us and we'll, you know, process a return. But, you know, our kind of all our Wool Babe stuff is available in other retailers. Some department stores, lots of boutiques around the country. So Wool Babe, you can definitely find somewhere locally to purchase it from. But the Merino is exclusive to us, so you have to order it online, and ask us for sizing advice. We'll put lots of comments, and when if you have our Merino, please do post reviews, and you can put your feedback about the sizing in the reviews, because we know people read through them. So it's always really helpful if you say, I bought this size, you know, it fits like this, or I sized up and my child was this. You know, any information like that other parents really benefit from. Okay, just quick recap. That's the singlet suit colours. I think the blue and the lilac in the singlet suit. So yeah. And 3 colours at the moment in the zip suit. And then in May we've got 5 more plain colours, plus 2 colours in the ruffle coming. 3 in the pyjamas. And then in single layer sleeping bag, baby gown and little zip swaddle. Like that.
So cute.
So many things. Thank you. Bye bye.